A former footballer from one of our leading non-league clubs has been talking about his battle with motor neurone disease. The Football Association is currently waiting for the findings of a study it commissioned into possible links between the game and the condition. Well, meanwhile, Scott Bell's friends and former teammates at Blyth Spartans have organised an event to help fund research. Dawn Thewlis reports.
These days, taking the dog for a walk is a major undertaking for Scott Bell. The 33-year-old from Bedlington needs sticks and a mobility scooter to help him get out and about. But just a few short years ago, he was banging in the goals for Blyth Spartans.
My times playing for Blyth were the best times I've ever had. And the fans there's so many of them, and they're amazing. And I love those times. But yeah, physically, so far away from where I am now. But I look back and I think about those days quite a lot.
Extreme tightness in his calf muscles left Scott unable to train, and he had to give up the game. More than a year later, he was finally diagnosed with motor neurone disease. It was a similar story for Whitley Bay's Mark Taylor, who lifted the FA vase at Wembley before being struck down with the condition.
I kind of just emailed him, just asking for some advice really on certain things, and he was really good, and he gave me some good advice to help kind of cope with things, and it helped me a lot of the time. It was just knowing that you're not alone, and these things that are happening to you are happening to someone else. I don't know why that gives you comfort, but it just kind of did. But there's two other guys who play football in the area as well who I didn't know had motor neurone disease, and they have as well, and they've been in touch since as kind of a group really.
Middlesbrough legend Willie Madron died from the disease in 2000 and always suspected heading the ball may have been partly to blame. But some neurologists believe it's not as simple as that.
My personal opinion and feeling is that it's not the physical activity itself, but there's something about your genetic makeup, your genes that make you athletic and good at sport, perhaps in some way make you susceptible to developing motor neurone disease, and that might be why it's a condition that's seen in people who've always been fit and healthy.
As it's still relatively rare, funding for research into MND is in short supply. The fund Scott set up has already raised £40,000, and now many of his friends and former teammates are hoping to raise much more. A marathon bike ride from Dublin to Blyth in May will see them arrive at Croft Park in time to kick off a special fundraising match and sports auction.
Like, why is it happening? How is it happening? It's just so sad, and he's one of my best friends, and I can't really put into words how I feel.
Scott is overwhelmed by their support and is hopeful their efforts can help find an effective treatment.
When I first got over the fact that I had a disease that was probably going to kill me, it took me a while to kind of accept that. The amount of stuff that people have done to help me raise awareness and raise money has been phenomenal really. And there's lots of drugs being trialled. So there's one drug being trialled at Newcastle that looks like it might be effective in slowing down the disease. And for people like me, that is what we live for. That is the hope of that keeps you going really.